What's going on, Port Adelaide fans? Welcome back to another video on my channel. Again, it's my channel. I've hijacked it.
People wanted you back, Theo.
They did.
I wanted you back.
Popular demand is a very important thing.
I got so many text messages asking for you to come back. I think I might have to hire you. But you're going to have to pay me.
I'm available in these covered... What?
Back today to do the B team.
Yes.
Of our greatest AFL team for Port Adelaide. By popular demand, and we said it in the video before that we wanted to do a B team because there's so many players that have played for Port Adelaide and that could be in the A's. We need a B team to play. We need a warm-up game. So, we've got a B team. We've selected the second best team for Port Adelaide to play in the AFL. A lot more familiar names in this one, I think, in terms of today's generation.
Yeah, sure.
But a lot of people don't actually know. Half of these players...
A lot of older ones as well.
Yeah, so they'll get to know this a little bit more as we go through each line. And it's... Well, there's still a lot of talent in it.
There's so much talent here. This
was actually harder to pick.
This was much harder to pick, and I had more fun picking this one than I had picking the first one because there were so many players in the first team that would...
They pick itself, yeah.
You have, off the top of my head,
the premiership players.
Exactly. Most of the premiership players who are in there. You got Treadray, your Corns boys, your Burgoynes, Boak, Wanganeen, all these players who had to be in that team. So you just kind of fill in those few gaps of potential players. But with this one, we went through every player who's ever played. Oh my god, it took forever. But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, you would have heard the emergencies as well that we said at the end of the video for the A team. The emergencies for this list, it's even more interesting, but we'll get there in a minute. So we're going to start with the backline. The fullbacks and the halfbacks. Theo, give it to us.
From the back pocket, we go Damien Hardwick, Stephen Paxman, and Matthew Bishop.
That line in itself is... Again!
See, we've got two premiership players.
We've got two premiership players who couldn't make the greatest team, but they make the B team.
Exactly.
And Bishop, see, to be honest, when I look at Bishop, that's how I model my game. He used to run.
Yeah.
He used to run, he used to carry.
Yeah.
But he also was a great one-on-one defender.
Yeah, long penetrating kick. You're more handsome, mate.
Yeah, I don't have the bold head.
Yeah, that's what gives you the edge.
But that, I think, backline picks itself.
That's pretty good.
The full-back positions, simple. Paxman over the likes of Carlisle and Cleary. Cleary, again, building to that potential greatest team. And Carlisle got good at the end.
Yeah, Carlisle was a handy player. He played for a long time. He wasn't always the fans' favourite, but I think he was a battler. He really tried hard. Paxman, though, as well, best and fairest winner as well. Again, another one that people forget about.
I didn't actually know.
Yeah. So early days.
And then Hardwick.
Oh, and Hardwick, of course.
Played for a couple of years, but premiership player, was a hard nut and has to be in the Bs.
Yeah.
But the half-back line. Now, this is a discussion we actually had pre-recording of how this lined up and who went in because, again, it's very hard. This one, half-backs.
This is where I think we might get some disagreeing in the comments, I reckon. But I'm looking forward to that. I hope we get... I kind of hope people disagree. Yeah. Otherwise, because we don't need people to keep telling us we're right about everything.
No.
We want people to
we are, but talk about it.
Exactly, yeah. So half-back, we've got Hamish Hartlett, Darren Mead, and Matt Broadbent.
Yeah, and with starting with Mead, he was the easiest pick to put at centre-half-back, I think.
Yeah, he was a true centre-half-back, really.
Worked harder than anyone. There's a lot of stories that I've heard that he was the hardest working player in those early 90s. Best and fairest winner. I think he almost played the Australian team as well in 97.
Stiff.
He was very stiff. And I was 1 year old and I thought that...
Yeah, I remember watching. I was I would have only been a couple of years old and I'm thinking, that guy is stiff to not make this.
I want to be like Darren Mead when I'm older. So then we had Hamish Hartlett. And I think, as I said, he picks himself. Yeah. Purely on his ability. Unfortunately, with injuries, a bit tougher to say he picks himself in that sense. Yeah. But he's just a battler.
Yeah, he's a very talented footballer. Great kick.
Watching that 2011, 12, 13, 14, 15 period where I think he was one of the best players in our team. I don't know about in the game, but...
I still think that he possibly has never quite fulfilled the potential that he really should have. Because I think that you look at that guy athletically is just he's right up there in the AFL. Those injuries, of course, haven't helped him, and at times, just probably hasn't quite hit the heights that he could have. He's still got time.
He'll get there. I think he'll be one of those like a Boak.
Sure.
Boak obviously was great, but then had a couple of years where he was a bit off, and then hits 30, goes back to where he belongs in the midfield and dominates. I think Hart coming back from injury, from his ACL, he was lucky that with this 2020 season, he injured himself in the first game.
Yeah.
Actually played a really good game.
He did play well, yeah.
He's got a whole, I think 3 or 4 years left in him still. He's only 29.
Yeah.
So, and I think the day and age now, the older you get, the actually the better you get.
Yeah.
And who doesn't love a hammer bomb?
That's right. No, yeah. One of the most glorious sights on a Port Adelaide, on a footy field with Port Adelaide players running around. One of the best sights is a Hamish Hartley bomb, yeah. Definitely.
Gets me up. And then lastly, we had Matthew Broadbent. A little bit harder to pick.
Yeah, you know what though? I think that we may have had a bit of we may have forgotten about some of his really, really good moments and good games in his prime years, because he was a very, very good player for quite a long time. You know what though? Broadbent's a bit of a sad story as well, in that his career was cut short as well with injury, but such a reliable player for a long time and a hard worker. He provided run. He was good with ball in hand. Just a really solid contributor to the team. Both when we were doing really well and when we weren't so good. Sorry. Yeah. He gets in there over the likes of, say, Darcy Byrne-Jones, who's still got so much ahead of himself, and Dan Houston, or even we spoke about someone else who didn't quite make the team, so like a Jacob Surgeon, who had a couple pretty good years at the club, but didn't quite.
Another battler.
Didn't quite get in there above Brody.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's our
back six.
Back six.
I completely agree with that. To be honest, I don't think anyone else should disagree.
Yeah. No. However, I would be interested to hear those comments.
Yeah, no, definitely love it.
Centre. Across the middle we got 2 women, Jared Schofield and Daniel Pearce, and in the guts we have Ollie Wines.
Now, with Ollie, we thought there was we had a little bit of a discussion about does he actually make it because of what he's done. But he's just too talented.
Yeah, and also you look at some of the other names of the guys we've left out. We might get to them in a minute, but he is a hard nut. He does go in very hard. His disposal, and everyone knows this, but his disposal does let him down at times. Quite often, in fact.
We're not going to speak about it.
Yeah, like that's what he's really got to work on. Well, you look at, Travis Boak, he struggled with disposal at times throughout his career, but he's worked on that a lot. Yeah. And Ollie's got to do the same thing. Yeah. When he burst on the scene that first year, and we thought, who is this kid? He's an absolute unit, and he was just getting so much ball, and he was just like this breath of fresh air to Port fans. Like, oh my god, this youngster.
Even 2018.
Yeah, totally.
That was, I think, his best year.
Yep.
In terms of being in the midfield.
Yeah, definitely.
People forget he played his first 50 games without injury.
Yeah.
And then
he's had a bit of a hard run, hasn't he?
Lately after that, yeah. But to complement him in the midfield, Daniel Pearce on the wing. I think arguably he's 10 or it was 7 years, 8 years,
something like that. Yeah.
Rising star winner, second one of 2.
Yeah.
Him and Michael Wilson. So he definitely makes the second team with his run, his carry. Later on in his career, I think he let it down a little. With us, yeah. With a bit of inconsistency, but him as a youngster.
But even when, you look at, not that we're judging his career at Fremantle, but he had a very good time at Freo really as well. So, very talented footballer.
Played in the grand final in 2013. So, definitely makes the team, and then you can't forget Jared Schofield.
Yeah, of course. Another, premiership player.
Could arguably be in the A's.
Yeah, I think that the thing about Schofield that probably didn't quite get him in over the line. You can't pick him over. Our wingers in the A's were Kane Corns and Peter Burgoyne, and if you're looking at Schofield, he's just not quite up there in terms of calibre of player. He's not quite in the mix with those guys.
Yeah.
But
even in the half-back too. You've got Burgoyne, you've got Montgomery. The likes of those that just you can't quite bake.
Josh Carr, Stewie Dew, Kingsley. He's one of those guys, Schofield, he's one of those guys who, just couldn't quite make it in. But another hard nut, really, as well.
We've had a lot of hard nuts. That period of 01 to 05, I think it was. You want to include that year. Just tough nuts.
Yeah.
The next lot, we're going into the forward line. Definitely complements them. But this, I think a lot of people, is where they will get a lot of discussion.
Yeah.
Half forward line, Theo, please.
This spot here is, I think, where we get the most. All right, here we go. So half forward, we have David Roden, Charlie Dixon, and Josh Marnie, all pickups as well.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of talented pickups in our time. Dixon, I think we seem to forget he's been at the club now for 5 years.
Yeah.
Had, I think, 2 good years. 17 was good.
Yep.
I think 18 he was okay. 16 on and off.
Yeah. I think that's, you know what, but I think that's the best way to describe his time at Port Adelaide. On and off. Because when he's on, again, he's got the talent, he's got the body, he's got the strength, when his confidence is up, he's kicking well. When his confidence is down, he's really not. He is a bit of a confidence player at times. Yeah, he's really, that's exactly right. He is a barometer for us. And when we play to his strengths, he looks good and we look good. But too often we don't, I think.
And that's not his own fault. That's just more so the team generics.
Yeah.
How we play, but...
Yeah. But we've got him, I mean, he's a traditional full forward, really. But we've got him up the ground to accommodate who we have chosen at full forward. Really, it doesn't matter. You could kind of swap these two around.
We're playing a game, they're not playing anywhere when they're up forward.
That's right. But we'll get there. Josh Marnie, of course, premiership player as well.
All-time, not all-time, leading goal kicker in 2006, with 29 goals.
29, yeah, it wasn't a great season.
Kicked 6 of those against St Kilda in the Anzac Day game.
Yep.
That was probably one of the best games in that time.
Yeah.
In terms of how we played.
Yeah.
122 to 118 the score was.
That's that brain right there.
Stewie G kicked 4 of those goals too.
You know your stuff, mate.
I love Stewie G.
Yeah. So look, Marnie, what a handy pickup. What a fantastic pickup we got. We picked him up in 04 and obviously played in the grand final and went on and had a couple of good years with us, so he makes it. And then the other, David Roden, of course, who was one of my all-time favourite players. I just loved how he brought a bit of flair. He seemed to always lift his game in showdowns, played well in showdowns, could tackle. He had the greatest action set shot for goal as well.
Oh, the tiptoe.
Yeah, the sort of like
what's
he doing? But he was a very good kick at goal as well. Chucked him on ball.
Just unfortunate with his knee injury.
Yeah.
But he was
a real fan favourite, I think, David.
Yeah, no, definitely I rate him. 100%.
Yeah.
One of the biggest draft steals, I reckon. Pick 85, I think he was.
Yeah.
In 07. And then, was dominant.
Yeah.
But to complement them, half forward, you go deeper into the forward. Yeah. This is probably the most, I don't know how you can word this. This is a fun forward line.
Yeah, totally.
I think this is a lot of people will agree with this one.
There are a lot of tricks up here. Yeah.
There's a lot of nicknames and stuff like that goes through this one. But we've got Brett Ebert, Mega Head. That's my favourite nickname of a Port player. He is one of my favourites in terms of just fan enjoyment of watching him play.
We love an Ebert, don't we?
We love an Ebert in general, but Brett was Mega Head.
Mega Head. Thunder Thighs as well.
Thunder Thighs. He was a big meatball. Treaders used to call him Meatball.
Is that right? I didn't know that.
Mega Head and Meatball.
Yeah.
Toby Thurston's, we've got at full forward. Did play in the fullback position later down the track.
Yep.
But forever known as his 4-goal performance.
In the grand final.
In the granny.
Yep.
Was it 4 or 3?
4.
Was it?
3.
Because Byron kicked 4.
No. Byron kicked 3. Wanganeen got 4.
Byron kicked 3. Wanganeen kicked 4.
Yeah, and Thurston's got 3.
Yeah, I remember. I watched the game.
Yeah, we've seen it. We might
we might have to rewatch.
Might have to cut this out, I was going to say, because
Toby Thurston's forever known as his post-game 04 on the mic. Cat dog.
Oh yeah, that still
gets played around.
I still don't.
Never understand. Are you having that kind of a day, Toby?
You can kind of do whatever you want when you win a premiership, I guess.
Both. And your favourite?
Yeah, look, the forward pocket who I really, really wanted in the first team because I rated this guy so highly, Daniel Motlop. I just think possibly our most mercurial player ever.
Polarising.
Yeah, but again, would come in and out of games. But my God, when this goal was on, what a delight to watch.
Flick the switch.
Yeah.
Good night to the team they were playing.
And we spoke about him because he was an emergency for our first team, being one of the guys who we almost snuck in there. But
I think if he had premiership or just an All Australian, could have.
Yeah, potentially. Oh, I think if he had a premiership,
Premiership is in there.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
A lot of people will think differently because of the sort of the feeling he left with a lot of people. I know Dad was, for one, didn't like him too much because he never gave 100% all the time.
Yeah, that is definitely
the work ethic. But in saying that, pure talent and stuff like that gets him in the conversation.
Oh yeah, totally.
People have different opinions, as I said, but whatever goes.
Yeah.
And that's the forward line.
That's the forward line. So we move into the right position, which we haven't.
We haven't done. We didn't put it in the midfield.
No, that's right.
This is why it's the B team.
That's right.
Yeah. So it's a mess.
It's a bit messy. We got there. It took a long time.
Yeah.
We got there. Anyway, so
now.
this was our B team. So this was our B midfield lineup. So we've gone with Paddy Ryder in the ruck, Dominic Assisi, and Brad Ebert.
Yeah.
So which and we think all three of those guys really.
Yeah, I think we spoke about Cassisi, and I think a lot of people know, as we said, premiership player, captain, blah, blah, blah. Gets definitely in the second team. Paddy Ryder was in the conversation for the first team in the ruck, All-Australian, I think.
All-Australian,
2017.
All-Australian, yeah.
Best and fairest winner as well.
NF winner.
Yeah, I think due to the fact he did miss a year with the Essendon saga, and then injuries sort of hurt him a little bit. Probably it's the reason why he didn't get in. But
also you look at who we've got. There's no chance that he's getting in over Brendan Lade.
Primus and Lade
and Matty Primus as well. Really,
but you can definitely put him in the conversation.
Yeah, and he
deserves that.
And he was in the conversation. So yeah.
Yeah, 45-minute conversation.
Yeah, that's right. So that is our midfield. Look, Dom Cassisi was a captain of the club for a time, so he gets in. He's and a premiership player, of course. And Brad Ebert, another one of the hardest players. Have you ever seen him play a game without a bandaged head?
No, I don't think so.
Because now he's got the helmet, of course. But how would he get a bandage?
Still bandaged
underneath, yeah, sure.
Still starts bleeding.
Yeah.
I think as well, he never got a bandage at West Coast. Becomes a Port Adelaide, bleeds for the club.
That's it. Absolute hard nut. Fantastic footballer. There was a time there where I thought he was potentially the best player at the club.
2012.
Yeah, when he was just...
When he came to the club, he was the best, I reckon.
But, so that's, I think, a pretty simple midfield that picks itself.
Yeah.
Then...
This bench... I spoke about fun forward lines. This is the most polarising bench I think you can pick.
Yeah.
And a lot of people might be disappointed. But Theo, this is our bench. Now, a lot of people will probably argue, why aren't these on the field? Well, you pick a bench just to... They're playing the same positions on the field. They just need 22.
The other thing is, the bench today, it doesn't really... Like, you pick a bench 15 years ago, those guys would only get certain minutes on the field.
40 minutes tops.
Now
they're getting all 80s.
Yeah, exactly. So now it doesn't really matter who gets picked on the bench. But we do have a premiership player on the bench, which still boggles my mind.
Yeah.
But, we didn't think that he was as good as... Paddy Ryder overall, even though he won a premiership, and that's the first one, who is Dean Brogan.
I just can't get it in my mind. Brogan in the B grade.
Yeah,
and that's he was not such the fact that he plays in the A's, as in we picked him, or he was snubbed. It was more the fact that you can't fit all these players in the greatest team.
That's right.
And he's on the bench simply because Ryder's just a better tap ruckman.
Yeah, I think so. Ryder was probably also better around the ground. Would take up forward as well. Would take more contested marks, but
Brogan speaks for itself.
Yeah, totally gets in easily.
I want to do Stephen Salopek simply because the Pecker was the most talented footballer for a period of time there. 07. Came onto the scene a lot more predominantly.
He played in 2004 as well.
04 he was part of the squad, but I think 07 was his best year. Deserved a lot more, unfortunately, with injuries and stuff like that. Very good serviceman of the club. There's two things that get him into this side.
Sure.
One was his ability and his service to Port Adelaide. 2 was his fantastic hair
Oh,
that he had in 2004.
4. Yeah.
That spiked, tinged, blonde, weird.
That was something beautiful.
Amazing. That's what got him into this.
That's what we're going to do next. All-time Port Adelaide 22 hairdos.
Oh, Westhoff. Captain.
Yeah, but we can have different tiers of Westhoff.
I think just have a Westhoff 22.
Oh, that could work as well. All the different Westhoff 22s. In fact, guys, put in your comment if you can. Put in the comments if you can. Your Westhoff 22s. Medium beard Westhoff. Long beard Westhoff.
2007 Westhoff.
Yeah.
I forgot he had no beard.
Yeah. Well, it's weird with that beard now, I guess. Who else have we got on this bench?
Jared Pollock.
Yeah. Look, we won't talk about him too much.
No, I think more the fact that he was a talented player.
He was a very talented player. Yeah.
Did more than we figured. A good recruit and just left on
on sour terms.
Cash terms.
Yep.
And lastly, this bench is a current day player. I really argued that he was one of the better. He's one of the better servicemen of the club, I think.
Already.
Been part of the club for 10 years. Now captain, Tom Jonas. I think his ability, his toughness, the way he plays the game, great lockdown defender for his height.
Yeah,
Tall, all
slightly
small.
shorter, yeah.
His ability and his leadership.
Yeah.
Simple as that. That's what gets him in the team.
Yeah.
Now, what we didn't do is mention our captains.
Now, so what we've done is we've actually we've gone with 2 captains. Now, what we thought was we're going to do something a bit controversial and name 2 captains because we thought, well, it will never happen ever in a million years, so we may as well do it here because there was no chance. And the 2 captains we picked were actually, so we went with Tom Jones and Ollie Wines. Co-captains. So what we thought was, give neither of them the number 1 Guernsey, let them keep their numbers. We don't even have a number 1. And we thought we could do it here is because this isn't real. So it doesn't really matter.
It won't happen.
It would never happen in a million years.
No.
And why not? Let's just put it forward and see how it goes. Because it would never, ever happen.
Right.
Yeah.
What we've actually done is we've picked Dom Cassisi as the captain because he was a captain, one of the better captains. Some would argue not, but they can get stuffed.
Yeah.
Better captains to play for the game.
Very eloquent. I love the way you put that.
Thank you. Just wanted to give it, not be rude, but
yeah, sure.
Wines. Oh no, not Wines. Oh, we didn't have Wines at all.
Careful.
It's coming true already. Vice captain was Tom Jonas.
Yeah.
Not a lot of actual leaders on that list.
No, I mean you look at like maybe Paxman and Mead. But again, we didn't watch them as much because we were younger, but we did see them play, of course. But yeah, I suppose you could sort of look at after Cassisi, Brad Ebert is sort of another leadership sort of figure.
But not a lot of leaders on there.
I think Cassisi and Jonas pick themselves as captain and vice for this one.
Yep, and that's our bench. That's our 22. We did have a couple of honourable mentions.
Yeah, so look, we've gone the 4 emergencies. We've gone Jackson Trengove,
BNF player.
One of BNF, yeah.
Hard nut.
A couple of very good years.
Very loyal in terms of how he played.
Yeah,
when he was playing for Port, and then
very
he just
much
buggered off.
He's not very good anymore.
No, he doesn't
play. He's just not very good.
Why is it that we get rid of players that were in our best 22 and then ship them off somewhere and they don't play at all?
Well, not always.
What does that got to say about our team?
Yep.
Anyway, Angus Montfries was next.
Yep. Gus, I love Gus.
I did like Gus.
Yeah. Good serviceman.
Do you not
coming from Essendon?
Yeah. Do you not suck for him? Was being at Essendon.
Oh right, okay.
And then he came here, and then he got that year's suspension.
Yeah.
Ruined his career, I think.
He was
ended his career.
I think he was good. I think he was he gave a lot to Port. I think he worked hard. Again, there were times when I thought, what a great bit of business it was bringing him over. Maybe wish we got a little bit more out of him, especially later on. But I mean,
13, 14, brilliant.
But overall, we had a pretty good player there, and of course, one of our favourite goals in Port Adelaide history, the Shane Warne. The Shane Warne leg break.
If Pythagoras is watching, explain that.
He's not. Do you know why?
Because he can't.
Because he's dead.
The next player we had on our bench, not our bench,
Emergencies.
we're losing the plot. This is what happens when we select B grades.
That's right.
DBJ.
Mm-hmm.
Simple. Been at the club for 5 years now. Talented kid.
Yeah.
Going to be an All-Australian. Going to be a best and fairest winner. Going to be a premiership player. Putting it out there now.
Oh, man.
Just to start.
Oh,
2020. The COVID premiership. And lastly,
the one we chuck in there in the emergencies was a former vice captain and a former, again, a bit of a barometer at times, but Jacob Surgeon. We thought that pretty handy defender.
a bit stiff.
Yeah.
Not to make the B grade.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know. There's just something about Surge where you just watch him and he just lifts you.
Yeah.
And he did that in the hardest of times when we had him. So,
see, it's tough because now you get to the point where there are so many other players who we left out. We did have a brief chat about a C grade, and
we've got a C's.
And some of these guys, you know, like you look at, I mean, guys like Connor Rosie will eventually probably be able to break it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will say, where are these types of players? Well, they've only played 1 or 2, 3 years. They're going to get there. They'll no doubt probably even push for the A's, for the greatest.
Yeah.
But we've got to let them play first.
Exactly. What they've achieved, they haven't, if we're honest, they haven't achieved enough yet to be there. But you look at Houston, you look at Rosie, you look at Dersma, you even look at guys like, Pal Pepper, Lobe, I'm just thinking of the name. Cockatoo Collins was a good player, you know. So all these guys who we had in the conversation who...
A lot of players, I think, 1997, a lot of people won't remember that team or that era of players that we had. So they're definitely in the conversation. But I think we've got a spot on.
Yeah. I know we've got a spot on.
No, we selected.
There are, we encourage the comments to come, and we encourage you to try and prove us wrong, guys, and try to say, well, where's Nick Stevens? And we will say, we don't care about your opinion.
I thought you were going to say something completely different then.
We don't care about... No, don't you worry. We don't care about your opinion. We don't care about Nick Stevens. And you know what? Sure. Maybe, who else is
You want
there?
Tom Rockcliffe? You're not getting
Yeah, exactly. Tommy Rockcliffe. You guys think
You want Matty White? Guess what? He's not playing anymore.
That's right. You want Damon White?
Oh, no. Guerrero. Do you want Guerrero? Get stuffed.
Guerrero's best years came after Port, unfortunately.
Yeah, when he retired. That's it. That's our B grade.
Yeah.
If you want a C grade, we've got one, but we're not going to do it.
Yeah.
Unless we get a request.
Yeah.
One request.
Look, if the one person watching this video...
If you've gotten this far and you want a C grade, let us know in the comments below. But also let us know what you think of this team. And leave a few comments, a few finer details, because I know it's not perfect. No one's team will ever be perfect because everyone's going to be wrong, apparently.
Are you just going off script now? Because we have definitively said this is perfect.
I'm trying to appease them.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So, thank you very much for watching. Thank you, Theo, once again for joining me on the channel. Second game. No blues for the second game blues, by the way.
No.
Nah, absolutely spot on. Might have to take over my job.
Oh, look, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
We'll get into contract or something.
Yes.
Yeah. But thank you very much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new for plenty more Port Adelaide content. Theo, do you know what we say at the end of the video?
I don't know. Why don't you tell me?
As always, come pair.
Oh, come the pair. That's
Come
what it
the
is.
pair.
Okay, let's try.
And as always,
Come the pair. Got it.